To us because she was here to speak with a Child Finds Saskatchewan big-time fundraiser. Marnie Grundman joins us today, and we are talking about children and youth and your advocacy for them. And this is a very personal and very harrowing story.
It is. At 13, I was one of those kids that was classified as a missing child because I ran away from home. And I ended up living on the streets for a year and a half until I found a job, and I raised myself ever since then.
Unbelievable. And some of the details I was reading prior to sitting down with you are like unimaginable. What was the tipping point?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of tipping points. I actually started running away when I was 5 years old. I was dropped out of a two-story window from my mother, sent to live with my grandparents, and it just triggered a series of events that running became my coping mechanism. At 13, it just all became too much. And when kids run away from home, they don't anticipate that they're just going to stay gone or that they're going to be gone for an hour or a day. It's just what happens. And the more we run, the better we get at it. So that's how I ended up out there for such an extended period of time.
Yeah, and then the last time, as you say, never
was the last time,
did
yes.
come home.
Yes, yeah.
So still in some ways on the run, but I'm sure you've come to terms with a lot of things, and now you're on the other side of the ledger, able to lend that experience and draw on that to relate to some of the other kids that are dealing with similar things.
To the kids that are dealing with similar things, to people on the outside of it that need to understand that children who are running aren't being rebellious. They're running because they need our help and our support, and we need to look at the root causes. And also for the people who have family members who are missing. I survived 3.5 years, thought for dead, and here I am. So on the other side of it, it's also a story about hope and survival, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, systemically, what needs to happen to, I guess, offer more support for this almost, you can't say forgotten, but maybe forgotten or neglected or underrepresented. Yeah, invisible.
Invisible. I mean, really, that's what they are, because what happens when they run is they're hiding and they're invisible, and they're the kids who end up being trafficked, either for sex or for labor, and the first ones to be victimized. A lot of it is understanding and perception. Some of it is how we list these kids as missing, not labeling them with the term runaway, which is synonymous with a rebellious child. So people just look for them because they're missing and because they are endangered. That's a really, really big part of it. And if you know a child that's running, getting involved and befriending that child, providing mentorship and a safe place for them to come and talk, that would have made a big difference for me, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, when you walk into a room or you presented with somebody who's struggling as a youth, and they probably look at you, what's their reaction when they find out your story?
The same as everybody's, actually. A huge surprise. I don't know what a person is supposed to look like that used to live on the streets, but I guess I don't look like a person who used to live on the streets and who went through all of these experiences. For kids, I think it's really important because they think that adults are perfect and we have it all together, when nobody really does. I mean, everybody has a story. That's what they say, right? And it's very true. So I think for kids, it's really important because it makes them feel better about themselves and that, that nobody's perfect kind of thing, or nobody's had a perfect life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Filters are filters on social media, but that's all that they are. Marnie, just the final question, if there was one thing that you would tell somebody who's watching this right now, what would it be?
I would say that the one thing I would say is get involved. If you see something going on and somebody that needs help, it only takes a moment to be kind and to get involved.
Perfect. And that moment can certainly change somebody else's life in very significant fashion.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for a couple of minutes, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you want to watch this segment again, go to our website, saskatoon.ctvnews.ca.